Parliament that had been a hostage to a month-long obstruction has finally resumed as the main parties have reached a consensus to address the persistent demand of main opposition CPN-UML. They have agreed to form an investigation commission to probe the gold smuggling scandal, paving way for an end to the stalemate. Good evening, I'm Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. A month-long obstruction at the federal parliament by the main opposition CPN-UML ends as major political parties agreed to form an investigation commission to probe the gold smuggling case. At least 8 people dead in a bus accident in Thading, 17 others injured in the incident, 13 of them reported to be in a critical condition. At least 17 workers dead in India's northeastern state of Mizoram as a railway bridge collapses. More are feared to be trapped. And an all-round performance from Indu Verma helps Nepali Eves secure a 34-run win over Kuwait at the Women's 2020 International Series. Major political parties have reached an agreement to form an investigation commission to probe the gold smuggling case. Today's meeting of the major parties represented at the House of Representatives held at the office of the Prime Minister in Singadarbar has decided to form an investigation commission to probe the gold smuggling case and furnish a report after required investigations. With the objective of removing obstructions at the federal parliament, the parties have decided to form the commission on the 22nd of September. The commission will begin its operation on the same day. First point of the agreement states that the Central Investigation Bureau of Nepal Police, which is investigating into the case, will file cases against those involved. The second point states that the commission will hold free and fair investigations into the gold smuggling cases that have been repeating in Nepal in recent time. The Commission will also assess the existing laws regarding curbing of smuggling and furnish its recommendations. Prior to this, the parties had reached a principal-level agreement for formation of the high-level committee. Opposition CPN-UML had been obstructing the parliament meetings since the 26th of July with demands of formation of the high-level commission to probe the gold smuggling case. The ruling parties, who had initially remained firm in their stance of investigations from the government mechanism, have reached the consensus on the condition that the government investigations are not affected. Today's meeting was held after CPN-UML chairperson KP Sharma Oli did not attend yesterday's meeting. Oli had attended today's meeting. Following the agreement to form a high-level commission to probe the gold smuggling scandal, the session of the House of Representatives has resumed. Deputy Prime Minister and Defence Minister Puna Bahadur Kharga informed the session of the resumption, saying that the obstruction had ended by joint effort from leaders of main parties and that the probe commission would be formed and investigation would begin after 22nd of October. Speaking at the special hour of the session, lawmaker Yogesh Kumar Bhattrai said CPN-UML was in favor of the parliament session, but the stalemate was a result of lack of effort from the ruling alliance. Lawmakers from Maoist Centre also drew the government attention, in fact the Home Minister's attention, towards the unfortunate bus accident in Thading. Parliamentarian Devendra Paudel urged for a solution to curb road accidents as such. Rashtriya Swatantra Party lawmaker Rabi Lamichhane opined that the investigation into gold smuggling scandal had been influenced as various top leaders were linked to the case. At least 8 people have died after a bus travelling from Kathmandu to Beni met with an unfortunate accident at Thading. The bus with registration number province 301005 Kha 9952 plunged into the Trishuli river near Gajuri along the Prithvi highway. 17 others were injured in the accident. According to police, 13 of those injured are in a critical condition. District Police Office has said that 8 bodies have been recovered from the accident site. 13 injured have been brought to Kathmandu for treatment, while 4 others are undergoing treatment at Gajuri Hospital. A total of 25 passengers were on board the vehicle. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal's US visit has been approved by the Council of Ministers. A delegation team led by the Prime Minister is to attend the 78th United Nations General Assembly in New York. The delegation will leave by mid-September. Premier Dahal's US visit will be followed by a trip to China. Meanwhile, the Council of Ministers has also decided to approve proposed amendments to the regulations of Securities Board. Ministries under the Bagmati Provincial Council of Ministers have reached 12 in number. Meeting of the Council of Ministers has approved the province government task division regulation and decided to add a new ministry. The meeting has also revised the name of the ministries. The previous Ministry for Tourism, Industries and Cooperatives has been revised as the Ministry of Tourism and Cooperatives, while the Ministry of Industries, Commerce and Land and Administration has been created as a new entity. Responsibility of the new ministry has been assigned to Ramkrishna Chitrakar, who previously was a minister without portfolio. Time now for our segment, Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question: why have former ministers not been made defendants in the Lalita Niwas land grab scam? Your options are A, to protect them, B, fear of being caught, and C, not considered necessary. Voting is on. Type any WS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Main opposition in Koshi province, CPN-UML has filed a writ at the Supreme Court against the floor test cleared by the province's Chief Minister Uddhav Thapa, saying he breached constitutional provisions to garner majority. A hearing has been scheduled for tomorrow. During the floor test on 21st of August this month, Israel Mansouri, who had been chairing the Provincial Assembly session, had voted to hand Chief Minister Thapa the majority to sustain his government. CPN-UML's lawmaker Revati Raman Bhandari has filed a writ at the Apex Court, saying the vote by the chair of the Assembly was illegal. In the meantime, CPN-UML had boycotted the Provincial Assembly meeting today, saying Assembly Chair Mansouri had displayed indiscipline. At the beginning of the session, Rashtriya Prajatantra Party lawmaker Bhakti Prasad Sitaula had stood from his place as a form of protest, followed by UML lawmaker Tilak Kumar Mengyangbo, who said the vote by Mansouri was against the constitutional provisions. Assembly Chair Mansouri then adjourned the meeting until further notice. Deputy Speaker Srijana Danuar had handed over the responsibility of the Assembly Chair to Mansouri, who is from Nepali Congress, citing the need to travel for health checkups. However, Mansouri had handed over the responsibility to Geeta Timalsina to vote for Chief Minister Thapa. The government had made public the concept paper of the 16th plan, which comes into implementation from the coming fiscal year. Despite inclusion of enhancing the quality of school education, putting an end to the students leaving Nepal for abroad and transforming schools into private investments to service-oriented entities in the 15th plan, the targets have yet to be met. Experts have identified national economic condition, regular changes in the government and political intervention in education as the reasons for failure in ensuring achievements as per the targets. The 16th plan has put forward the objectives of developing secondary education and making the higher education focused on entrepreneurship and employment. At a time when students, despite receiving higher education, have been facing difficulties in finding jobs due to lack of skills, the National Planning Commission has put forward the idea of earning while learning and learning while earning. The use of digital technology, laboratories and well-facilitated libraries have also been stressed. The plan proposes making the university-level education research-oriented. The government has been investing around 10% of the total budget in education, which is more than 180 billion rupees. However, despite such huge investment, the returns have been disappointing. at a time when the quality of higher education has not been as expected, which has led to the rise in the number of students leaving the country for quality education abroad. Experts have said that the 16th plan should focus on these issues. They have added that increasing political intervention in the education sector and regular changes in the government have also created obstacles in achieving the goals of the 5-year plans. Officials of the Planning Commission acknowledge that the coronavirus pandemic and recent economic condition have not helped in achieving the goals. Despite the 15th plan showing satisfactory rate of admissions between grade 1 to 8, most other findings are disappointing. Targeted literacy rate has not been achieved, while education remains to be linked with productivity. Therefore, it is imperative for the 16th plan to address these issues. Local residents have been compelled to bear the brunt as the concrete bridge over the Hewa river of Sankwasava, which was swept by the June 17 flood, is yet to be reconstructed. A new bridge has not been built after the bridge connecting Sankwasava headquarters Khatbari, Panchkhapan and Chainpur municipality was swept. Despite the Koshi province government allocating 140 million rupees for construction of the bridge this year, works have yet to begin. Infrastructure Development Office Sankwasava has said that human movement could begin before Dasai if works of construction of a Bailey bridge were started at the earliest. Local residents have been facing trouble in travelling to headquarters Khatbari and Chainpur in absence of a bridge. The flood in Hewa river has swept a 30-meter bridge connecting Khatbari, Baderni, Lingling and Chainpur municipality. Construction works of the bridge had concluded on the 8th of January. Nepal Electricity Authority has operated 2 electric vehicle charging stations in Nuwakot. Under the objective of operating electric vehicle charging stations along major highways of the country, the Nepal Electricity Authority has informed that charging stations have been installed at Bidhur Municipality, Ward number 4, Batar of Nuwakot to charge private and public vehicles. The stations set up at an investment of around 14 million rupees can charge up to 3 vehicles at once, and payment can be made digitally as well. The NEA has said that all kinds of European and Asian electric vehicles can be easily charged at the stations. Nepal has suffered a trade deficit of 115 billion rupees in the first month of the ongoing fiscal year. Based on the report of the Customs Department made public for the first month of the fiscal year 2023-24, Nepal imported goods worth 129 billion rupees, while exports figured only 13.51 billion rupees. Imports had figured 131 billion rupees in the first month of the previous fiscal year, while exports had stood at 14.80 billion rupees. Exports have reduced by 8.65% in the ongoing fiscal year, while imports have dropped by 1.56%. A total of 97 kinds of goods have been imported from 109 countries in the first month of the fiscal year. Time now for international update. An under-construction railway over a bridge at Sairang in India's northeastern state of Mizoram collapsed today, killing at least 17 workers. The bridge had been under construction for nearly 2 years. Police said there were some 40 workers at the site when the accident happened. The Indian government has announced it will pay some $2,400 to the next of kin of those killed. Mizoram lies on India's border with Myanmar in the far eastern part of India. The bridge is near Sairang, a town around 20 kilometers from the state capital, Aizawl. The African Union Commission has suspended Niger from the Pan-African bloc until a normal constitutional order is restored in the country following the latest military coup. The decision to suspend Niger from AU membership was made by the Peace and Security Council of the AU Commission during its latest meeting that dwelt upon the situation in the Western African country. The Council decided to immediately suspend the participation of Niger from all activities of the AU and its organs and institutions until the effective restoration of constitutional order in the country. It reiterated its unequivocal condemnation of the military coup that took place on July 26 in Niger, which resulted in the ousting of democratically elected President Mohamed Bazoum by a faction of military officers. 15 Mexicans and 1 Venezuelan have died in a road accident in central Mexico. The 52 passengers traveling on a bus on Mexico's Miahuatlan Coixta-La Huaca highway included 10 passengers from Venezuela, and they had appointments to seek legal entry to the United States. Some 36 passengers were injured and taken to hospital after the bus crashed with a trailer. 9 of the injured were Venezuelan, and of those, 3 remain hospitalized. An earlier statement from Oaxaca State Interior Minister Jesus Romero, based on initial reports, said 47 passengers had been on board, with the majority from Venezuela. The ongoing month of August 2023 marks the 6th anniversary of the fleeing of more than 730,000 Rohingya from Myanmar's Rakhine state to Bangladesh after a military-led crackdown in response to an attack by Muslim militants on Myanmar security posts. More than 730,000 Rohingya Muslims fled Rakhine state in August 2017 after a military crackdown that refugees said included mass killings and rape. Myanmar is facing charges of genocide at the International Court of Justice over the crackdown. It denies genocide and says its armed forces were conducting legitimate operations against militants who attacked police posts. More than 1 million Rohingya are crammed into camps in southeastern Bangladesh in what is now the world's largest refugee settlement. A rare spotless giraffe born last month in a zoo in Tennessee has captivated people around the world. The zoo believes the reticulated giraffe calf to be a one-of-a-kind specimen, since these animals are rarely born without their characteristic spot pattern. According to local media, the last known recorded spotless giraffe was born in a zoo in Japan in 1972. The name of the female giraffe, which was born on 31st of July, will be decided through a social media poll that was launched yesterday. The poll includes Swahili words kipiki, which means unique, and firayali, meaning unusual, as name options, and will run until September 4th. Before wrapping up, here's a look at the top stories once again. A month-long obstruction at the federal parliament by the main opposition, CPN-UML, ends as major political parties agree to form an investigation commission to probe the gold smuggling case. At least 8 people dead in a bus accident in Thading, 17 others injured in the incident, 13 of them reported to be in a critical condition. At least 17 workers dead in India's northeastern state of Mizoram as a railway bridge collapses. More are feared to be trapped. And an all-round performance from Indu Verma helps Nepali Eves secure a 34-run win over Kuwait at the Women's 2020 International Series. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.